So here at Fan Expo, and we're here at the Lost Go booth, looking at the Lost Go prologue.
I think you should just keep it.
I like that. Prologue. Okay, you can edit this. Okay, it'll be humorous. Humorous. It'll be humorous. Prologue comic with Jessie, Tigh, and Navid. You guys work for Bedlam Ink. Bedlam Ink is not a full-time comic. This is just promo material for the online comic, right?
Yeah, exactly. Bedlam Ink, its genesis is kind of a new venture. So it's to do promotional material, kind of tie-ins with both video games, comics and television series. So this is basically our first issue. So we're going to kind of see how it goes and see how people enjoy it, and hopefully there'll be more along with as the series progresses.
So there is a plan to continue producing issues. Now this is a prequel to the
television series. So this leads up literally right up to the first episode. That's the print comic. The print comic is its own kind of unique storyline. The interactive motion comic is what leads up directly to the series. So once the interactive motion comic, which is about 6 episodes, the last frame is literally a tie-in to how the series starts.
So if the comic continues as a comic book in print form, will there be parallel storylines, side stories?
The thing with Lost Girl is that there are so many mythological creatures that they're called the Fae. There's so many different types. There's different, kind of species, races, all of that. So really, we get to choose from these rich characters while also working in conjunction with the TV shows, right? So everything that we create gets vetted by them, but it kind of just adds another layer to what's already going on. So it's kind of a unique opportunity just because of the history of what actually Michelle Lovretta created. Yeah.
So as the writer, you have, as long as you work within that universe and those characters, you have pretty much freedom to come up with your own storylines?
It's been an amazing experience because basically Michelle and everyone just said, go ahead, make your story, and then I went and wrote off based on their characters, and then she had a look, gave some comments, and and we just kind of worked back and forth until it was kind of up to both the standard of the show and kind of matched the show, kind of so that they're not just disparate, different both mediums and storylines, right? We want them to be seamless, right? That's kind of the idea.
Speaking of the art and the color, the motion comics present a totally different challenge to static comics, but still not making cartoons. How do you get, is it difficult?
That's a good question. I think motion comics there's not a particular style that you have to do motion comics in, right? Like if you look at a lot of the Marvel ones that are coming out now, they're almost fully animated things, right? So ours is a little bit more like a storyboard, like a real kind of thing.
We tend to take an animation approach to this because Tigh and I come from animation backgrounds. So we kind of look at each panel in the motion comic as a storyboard.
Yeah.
So if Lost Girl would ever go towards making cartoons or even movies, we'd even use that as pitch material on the side as well.
Now the motion comics are actually interactive, unlike a lot of other motion comics.
That has a whole unique challenge because now you're also bringing in, unfortunately the web designer couldn't be here, but we're working with web designers to make sure that everything kind of flows seamlessly together. So that the big challenge there, I guess, you can speak more to that.
Yeah, and it's kind of different because each episode will have a different type of interactivity to it, which is kind of neat. It's not going to be the same thing over and over and over again. But that's Navid kind of comes up with a lot of what's actually going to be interactive, and then we kind of have to figure it out. But yeah, it's a little more challenging because you have to kind of, on the art side of it, you've got to kind of match it up as you go. And
is your process?
You're not, so that the interaction doesn't throw you out of the story, right? Because that's the big danger is that you're watching this thing and then all of a sudden you're clicking, but the idea is to make it kind of kind of just flow really naturally.
As linear as possible with still kind of jumping all over the place.
Yes.
Now, speaking of, are you 100% digital process, or does paper get touched?
For the print comic, it was 100% digital. For the motion comic, I actually did the characters traditionally, and I did like the backgrounds and stuff like that digitally, and then Jessie colored.
I pretty much did everything else on the computer as well.
Now, I know that Bedlam might be doing a game. Are you guys going to be involved in that process too?
Yeah, it looks like it, absolutely. Yeah. Everyone kind of does everything at Bedlam. It's kind of a really good family of kind of a video game, comic world mixing together. So, yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
I'm hoping the game sort of, I mean, a lot of games, you know, we have the style of the show is hyper-realistic. The comic is obviously stylized. I'm hoping the game carries on the stylized comic feel rather than trying to be a match of the show.
Yeah, I think that it...
Yeah, the idea is that, you know, we want the comic and the art and the video game to kind of be from the same world, right? So you don't want these, even like the print comic, it really does match the motion comic too, I'd say, right? So, I mean, they've already got you kind of working on design.
We've kind of like done some concepts and that sort of thing.
Hi, looking for something?
Yeah, it's just nothing's been like solidified yet, so we're kind of working towards it, but it looks like it'll be more like along the same lines as the comic and that sort of thing, especially the motion comic, I think.
Now, the last question I had about the motion comic is you have dialogue audio, and the audio is voiced by the actors.
Right now,
or not?
No, it's not voiced by the actors, but that we're hoping that that's going to happen very soon. Right now, we have an actress, another actress voicing Bo, because she's the only main character from the show in the first episode. But we're actually in the process of looking to get the actors on board to do the voice. Yeah, so that's just a time thing. It's just a matter of when. Really.
Another thing I just forgot to mention is that the show is a little bit different in that it's a lot of sex and other elements that are not common to games and even comics per se. Are you going to be incorporating some of those more mature elements into the online material?
I hope so.
Absolutely. No, the fun thing about working on the online motion comic is that you have a little more freedom. I feel like in the web there's a little bit more freedom to kind of push the boundaries a bit in terms of sex. I mean, the fact that she's a girl who has to survive by sex, you know, is already pushing a certain boundary, right? So as a writer, it just completely frees you up to kind of going into this weird sort of quasi-fantasy, quasi-noir territory, you know, so it really works out in that regard, yeah.
I do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the motion comics and maybe hopefully some future print comics as well. I'd like to say the quality of the printing in this comic is top-notch, so very, very high quality. And thanks for talking to us.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Thanks for having us.